Welcome to the Bucket List Life Podcast with Trav Bell, the world's #1 bucket list expert. Bucket List Life's mission is to help you get off the treadmill, stop Groundhog Days, hack your habits, and live a regret-free life. Because we know life's way too short not to live your bucket list life. So please welcome your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy.
Well, hello, bucket listers. Welcome to the Bucket List Live podcast. I'm your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy, and I am with Jacqui Kami, the Strengths Finder. How are you, Jack?
I'm good, thanks, Trav. And you?
Awesome. I'm absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and spending some time with that. I'm really keen to get into the nuts and bolts of what strengths is all about, is the key theme for today. One question, whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I'm in the best part of the world, on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia.
Beautiful. I'll be up there, and actually, I'll be up there in about a week's time. There you go.
We'll have to catch up.
Bringing the family because it's so damn cold down here, hence the jacket, and the beanie's just over there. Look, one question I ask everyone who jumps on the Bucket List Live podcast is, when we're traveling around the world and we're coming into a place, we've got to fill out the incoming passenger card and we've got to put our occupation on there. What do you put on yours?
Strengths coach.
Strengths coach. and does immigration go, hang on, what is this all about? Well, describe that. What is the strength? What was a strengths coach? You're a weightlifting coach, or
no? That's my husband. No. Yeah. Strengths, as in the strengths that we're all born with internally, that drive our actions and behaviours and such. So personal strengths and not the physical kind.
So personal strength. So what would that, give me an example?
Well, I'll give you an example of my own. One of my strengths is futuristic. I love to live in the future, in my head, in the way I plan things, in the way I'm always looking to the future rather than what's happened as a guide for where I'm going.
Right. So you're trying to drive. You're inherently, you can drive the car through you're looking through the front window rather than the rear vision mirror.
Correct.
Naturally. Whereas a lot of people, they look at the rear vision mirror more so than actually through the massive window in front of them.
And believe it or not, that's also a strength in the system that I use, the Gallup strengths, Clifton strengths, and that's called context. And people who have context are driven by what they see from the past. That's how they judge risk and what their plans are going to be. It's from their past.
Interesting. So Gallup, what I hear a lot about Gallup, I have heard about Gallup over the years. Can you just explain what Gallup is?
It's quite an old institution based in the States and has had a very interesting past, but at one stage was bought by a guy called Don Clifton, who is the father of strength psychology. And Gallup basically were doing polls and looking at business and what causes business to thrive and taking kind of a global health check on business and teams and professionalism and all that kind of thing. When Don came on board, then he started to say, well, all of those kind of things, what are they telling us? And they were looking at what makes people thrive in a professional sense. And
right, because that's the driver, isn't it? You want to help people not just survive but thrive in life. Not just in their work, but in their, beyond work as well. And so how does, look, I've done it, spoiler alert, everyone, I've actually done my strengths, what do we call it? A strengths test?
Clifton Strengths Assessment. Yes.
Yep, I did it. And how many, it was like 170, how many
Correct. 177 questions.
177 questions. And you know these things where you do and I'm always doing assessments trying to work out how psycho I am. No, how disc profile, always looking for, being a coach as well, I'm always looking for tools and measurements and metrics and that sort of thing so I can be better. Yes. Rather than just blindly, ignorantly go forth and go, oh, this feels right, rather than be, intuitive my whole journey. It's good to get these kind of set points and get these, reports back. And and you get, probably flashback from school, pick an A, B, and C, and D, and you always know all of the above over here. Oh, maybe got a 50-50 chance if I tick that one. So the thing is, when I did the strengths assessment, you've probably heard this before, I'm trying to work out a pattern in doing it, so I'd err on positive and at all. And it's so confusing. I'm like, only about a few of these questions in, I'm confused as hell. I'm like, oh, there is no pattern. Well, I can't work out this pattern anyway. So have they deliberately done that?
I don't think it's deliberately to prevent people like you and I who can manipulate tests. But I guess because there are 34 strengths, they have to ask a sufficient number of questions to get a good guide. But they also include, like, one question will not just be trying to determine one strength. So it's quite complex. Yes.
Yeah, and it comes out with this crazy report. How many pages is that report? Is
one of them is about 25 pages.
Yeah. So that's why we need the Strengths Finder to unpack it, because it's like, when I received back, it's got this like piece of DNA on it, and it's like hieroglyphics, but it's extremely valuable information. Both from me anyway, was a recalibration. Am I in the zone? Is my vocation or are my strengths complemented through my vocation? Are my strengths complemented throughout, different areas of my life? And, you think you're on path, and then you do these kind of assessments and you go, oh, hang on, I need to do more of that. I need to do less of that. I'm trying to fix my weaknesses rather than just lean into my strengths. Is that what you find? Like because you do this and then you do the like an unpack session, right?
Correct.
And that's where you go through the report, and you need someone to hold your hand through that thing. And that's that's a big awakening, right? What is the when people get their reports back, what's the common kind of response?
Wow. I think it helps people to value perhaps what they know intuitively, but are then able to put words around. And I think people
backs up the intuition side of things. Yeah,
okay. Correct. And I think it by and large, people feel very uplifted and positive when they see, these are my strengths. It's almost a validation of their personhood.
Yeah, and I guess using that term, like cognitive dissonance, is when you're doing actions out there in the world that are opposed to maybe your own values, and there's a discrepancy between the two. There's a misalignment between the two, right? And that actually causes a chemical reaction that causes pain. There's a lot of people that are disengaged because of that reason at work, right? They're out there doing a job that they hate, or doing a job, something that they're not passionate about, a bucket list life is, by my definition, is people that are, living their strengths. They're pursuing their strengths. They're leaning into what brings them more meaning, purpose, and fulfillment on a day-to-day basis. And that's a fulfilled and happy life, right? Is that why you started as the Strengths Finder? Is that, how did you start? Was that, what's your sort of overall why?
I think it stems from one of my top 5 strengths, which we share actually, is individualization. And I have a great capacity to see a tree within a forest, and a great appreciation for an individual. And through my whole career, no matter what it was about, and early on it was about science, it was the people and the people that I was interacting with, and how could I help them to see what they're actually really good at and to value that and bring it out more into their life. And I think as I got older, I walked more and more away from the science and more towards the people side of things. And finally, my husband's like, just do this. I wanted to do the Gallup training since 2008. And he was finally like, oh, please just do it. So, you know, and I'm so glad I have, because it's just.
He did push you. How long have we been connected?
Oh, almost a year, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dr. Monty, your lovely partner, he was quite, persuasive in getting you to start this journey. And now that you have started this journey of helping people, you know, and coaches, it doesn't matter if you're consulting or coaching, you know, and anyone who has a deep passion for helping people, step into their potential, getting them excited about living their version of their regret-free life. You know, that's why I'm a coach. That's why I'm a speaker. Speaking is really coaching one to many from a stage, but helping people is where it's at. And for a lot of people, and this might be you, listener or watcher, if you're naturally helping people, you know, people kind of naturally confide in you, and they're like, let's catch up for a coffee, let's catch up for a beer or, you know, wine. And then before you know it, you feel like a priest and people are confessing, you know, you're a confessional, and they feel really good afterwards. You're probably a coach and you don't know it. You know, you're a hobby coach, you're an amateur coach, and it could be cause for reflection on, maybe you could turn this into a profession, which you've done, right? And It's a thing that you just can't help. You just can't help but help people because you love helping people, you know, fulfill their potential. So how's it evolved now? Like, you're from a target market point of view, and, you know, we're all in business. From a target market, who's your sweet spot in terms of ideal client? You know, what are they? Who are they? What are their sort of things that they want to find out about themselves? You know, where do they want to go with this?
Yeah, people who are professionals, who are, you know, perhaps, well, maybe not necessarily, but satisfied with their career, but kind of thinking, there has to be more. There has to be something more to this. I don't feel that my strengths are being utilized well, or whether it be within the job or they're considering something more, you know, expanding into their own business or climbing the ladder, or something different.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a leader or a C-level exec or anything like that. It's just someone who's curious about you know, leaning into their own, what are their actual strengths. And circling back to the individualization thing, does that mean, you know, like people who have got the individualization don't play well with others, or what's going on there? Is that just
no? It's not an individualization in terms of their self.
Yeah,
it's an individualization in how they deal with others. And you often see it with another strength, which is relator, where you have the capacity to go deep with people. It's more about seeing the individual instead of just seeing someone as a, you know, nameless face in a crowd.
Do you have mine there? I don't have mine available. What were my, because it comes out with your top 5. And how many strengths are there? Does it identify?
Yeah, 34.
Ooh, 34. So, but it how does it isolate your top 5?
Based on the questions and how you answered them in the assessment, it gives you a ranking. So I always explain it like it's a toolbox, and you have 34 tools in there. Your top 5 tools are the ones you pull out every single day and you use them in your life all the time. the next 5 down to number 10, you're using frequently. Maybe not every day, but certainly frequently.
Interesting.
Then 11 to 20, you call on them when you need, but nowhere near as frequently. And then from 21 to 34, you just don't touch them. Basically,
just ignore them. Yeah,
they're in there, and you know they're there, but nah.
Yeah. So what were my top 5 again?
Okay, so number 1 is focus. Number 2 is individualization. Number 3 is maximizer. Number 4 is futuristic, and number 5 is self-assurance, which is very rare in the top 5, by the way. So, yeah.
Why is that such a unicorn?
Self-assurance is just not something that most people are strong at, according to. I mean, Gallup's
what is it? What by definition? What does that mean? And how does that fit into the context? Unpack those 5 for me, Jack.
Okay. Focus. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. You're able to really laser focus on tasks, and you have a great capacity to cast off distraction. So you tend to achieve because you won't be distracted. So that's a fairly easy thing. And I can attest to this. Yes. Every week you're focused, like, what did you do? Did you do this? So focus, individualization, we've had a little chat about that recently.
Maximizer. What's maximizer all about?
You're always looking to make it that much better. How can I make this better? How can I tweak it? And it's not necessarily about the achievement. It's about, was it better? Was it better? Was it better? So you'll come into, say, my coaching business, and you'll say, well, what about your LinkedIn? How's that? And then you'll suggest tweaks, and that's kind of the maximizer. They're looking to make it better. They're always tweaking things.
Tweak. Yeah, just the rudder, the little
adjustments,
wind in the sails. Yeah, cool little adjustments. What were the other ones?
Yeah. Futuristic.
Forgetfulness is another one.
No, that's so.
Yeah, futuristic. Yeah.
Yep. So you are
love Star Wars.
You're forward looking. You love to live in that space. So yeah, you kind of often you think in terms of combinations of your strengths. So you've got a focus, but it's laser pointed forwards. You know, you're not looking with focus behind you, but forwards.
There's a complete mess behind me, but as long as I'm laser focused.
Yes, yeah. Possibly.
Won't talk about those weaknesses. Let's just focus on strengths.
You're a visionary thinker. You're futuristic, so you kind of
think of concepts and think of, was that the 5?
Nope. Your final one is self-assurance.
Self-assurance. There it is. Okay, cool. So where is this for you right now? You're helping, all sorts of different people, all sorts of different backgrounds. What's the best part of it for you? I can kind of answer that for you, but I want to hear it in your words. I know, the thrill of helping people is fantastic. But where's the big aha moments for you?
When someone's able to move from where they are with a modicum of dissatisfaction to a place where they're thriving, whether it be relationship, because you can apply your strengths to your relationships, or whether it's they found the courage to step out into something new because they knew their strengths would support them in that move. That's just magic, isn't it? Yeah,
it's perfect. And then that's the little high fives we give ourselves as coaches and speakers, and you know, when clients have those little aha moments themselves and those little breakthroughs, you know, they're priceless. You know, the more that you can help co-create that for them, create the space for them to do that, you know, that's what it's all about. And using whatever tools, you know, we've got available. You know, sometimes you feel as a coach, as you know, you're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And those breakthroughs are, you know, sometimes, as I've said to you guys, sometimes it's breakdown before breakthroughs. Sometimes it's absolute confusion before clarity. But what I do like about that is you are very clear about who you want to help and why.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And you're in your strengths by doing this now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So what are you curious about at the moment?
Well, I've really been reading a lot around, I guess it harks back to my my science days, but it seems to me that the forefront of medicine at the moment is definitely looking at microbes and our gut flora and the potential for that to be a source of healing for many, many different things. And it's just captured my attention. So I've been reading deeply around this.
How come? How come it's captured your attention?
I have leukemia. And I happened across a paper that said that
didn't know we were going to go there, but
yeah, I know. But
all good. Play on.
So
and there's a doctor in front of your name, isn't there?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So what are you a doctor in, Dr. Jack?
I am a doctor in plant pathology, which is plant diseases.
Which plant diseases, the strength finder, I can see the absolute symbiotic relationship there. It's
funny,
beautiful.
hey?
It's the complementary. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Oh, definitely.
You're a doctor. I didn't even know that. Like, you're a doctor in plant medicine.
Yes, essentially. Well, not plant medicine, but diseases of plants, agricultural plants.
Sorry. I thought we were going to go down the ayahuasca route here, and I
thought
I could use
although I can
few
talk
mushroom.
to you about that too.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So, what's since you're reading about all, what's your favorite? While we're kind of on reading, have you got a favorite quote, or a mantra, a motto that you live and die by?
Yeah. It comes from the Bible, and it says, "What is required of you, O man, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly before your God." And that, to me, is the way that I desire to live my life.
That is cool. That is very cool. Oh, I got goosebumps there. It is cold down here, but I still go. But I'm in a warm room. I got goosebumps out of that one. Hey, reverse bucket list. We've obviously started our relationship. An event where I spoke, and you guys come up afterwards, and here we are now. The concept of reverse bucket list and future bucket list, right? And this is our, for those listeners, watchers, a bucket list is a tangible life plan, where our career plan, in your case, the strengths finder, career plan or business plan, fits into our life plan, not be the other way around, And when we optimize, when we leverage and scale our business plan, that hopefully gives us the resources that we need to go and do our bucket list, right? And I think the Holy Grail, as you definitely know, the Holy Grail is actually doing something that you love, on a day-to-day basis, which it ticks all the boxes for you, right?
Yes.
Being the strengths finder. So, reverse bucket list. Can you think of like the top 3 things that you've done in your life on your bucket list?
Sure.
Go for it. Brag away.
Actually, working in the Pacific Islands for 7 years for a regional organization, I got to work on 18 of the Pacific Island countries and territories. And that was definitely a bucket list. There's a few left. So they're on the current bucket list.
Future bucket list. So what's on your future bucket list? Yeah, reverse bucket list, future bucket list.
Yeah. So that was one of the reverse bucket list. A future bucket list item that I'm really passionate about is buying back a boat. Redeeming a boat. My grandfather was a very famous boat builder and sailor. He sailed in the America's Cup and such, and his last boat that he ever built was the Jenny 7, and it is currently held by some of our relatives, but it was part of my dad's inheritance, and he never received that for various reasons, and I want to buy it back from him for him. Yeah. So that's on my bucket list.
Wow. Well, do you know how much they want?
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay.
Yep. I got a few more
strengths finding. All right. So, okay, cool. What sort of condition is it in?
Oh, mint condition.
Oh, so it's seaworthy. It's
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Oh, that's a good get. We've never talked about that. That's cool. Big bucket list item, and the cool thing about bucket list items, not about the what, it's about the why, which you just gave me.
Yeah.
It's got heritage. It's got real meaning, family meaning around it. So love that, Jack. Thanks for sharing. Look, what does a bucket list life mean to you? It's different to everyone. What does living a bucket list life mean to you?
That I wake up every day and what I do brings me joy and brings others joy. If I could pick up this microphone, it's pretty heavy. I'd drop the mic at this point in time because that was really cool. So imagine a stadium full of people. I ask everyone on the Bucket List Life podcast about this question. And imagine a stadium full of people. You're got a big raised stage at the front, big booming microphone. What do you choose to say? What would you like to say to that group? And who do you choose to be in the audience? Right. What I would say is that you are a gift. There will never be another like you, and we need you. And the audience would be every single person on the planet. That's about the MCG. Okay, so that is huge. Jack, we're nearly out of time here. Thanks so much for sharing, going places that I didn't think we'd go, from the leukemia to the boats and everything in between. Awesome. Strengths Finder. How can people connect with you? What's the I'm going to put your details up here, just your website and stuff. There we go. Boom. Thanks. The Strengths Finder. What's the best sort of social platform that you hang out on the most? LinkedIn. I am most on LinkedIn, but I'm also on Facebook and Insta. Cool. Either one is fine. Perfect. Jack, thank you so much for being on the show. thestrengthsfinder.com, that's where it's at. Guys, remember, this is the Bucket List Life podcast. So wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to this, thanks so much for being part of our community and learning more and more about our guests and engaging in our content. Make sure that you like, love, subscribe, share, leave a comment. You know what to do. Thanks so much for being part of it, Jack, and I'll see you next time, Bucket Listers. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks so much for listening to the Bucket List Life podcast with the world's #1 bucket list expert, Trav Bell. For more great content, go to www.thebucketlistguy.com. We'll see you next time.